All right, Yulia, I am honored to be talking with you today. You have
Thanks
quite,
for having me.
you haven't been around that long, but you've made quite the stellar career lately. I mean, where,
I hope so. Working on it.
yeah, I mean, no, but you got quite an impressive resume. I mean, you worked with
Thank
some
you.
greats and, but where did this all begin? How did this journey begin that you wanted to become an actor?
I always had this performance streak in me. I always wanted to perform, sing, be in front of the audience, and I was always fascinated by the storytelling. I always find it fascinating when I watch the movie. I'm like, how would they shoot this scene? What angle was it? I always was interested in the technicality of the film. And as a kid, I participated in every kindergarten activity, middle school activity, everything wherever the plays were involved, or any sort of singing competition or any sort of competition, I would be in the first row to do this. And then I continued to pursue it in America, and just did some background work, step by step, a little bit at a time, build up my resume, and started taking classes intensively, and just like everybody else, finding the right script and going to the auditions, and you know one thing after another, and then you find yourself with this person, with that person, next to big actors, nowadays. So that's great.
Yeah, not just that, you got to work with some rock star directors, in my opinion. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
right before
And
we
then,
we started recording, we talked about James Cullen Bressack, and
oh
he
yeah, James as well. Yeah, he's awesome. I love James.
yeah, he's a rock star in my book. I've seen
I thought you literally mean the rock star, because Glenn Danzig is a rock star.
exactly. Well, yeah, you worked with him
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
But
that's why I
yeah,
mentioned his name.
yeah, I mean, I saw Survive the Game, which you're in,
Yeah,
and he's also directed Fortress. Got
yeah.
has a new one called Hot Seat coming out this week. That
I can't wait to see those movies. Yeah, they're
oh yeah,
great.
that was great. And
Trailers look amazing.
movie you worked with him on was called Captors that I heard about. And I heard that is one of the best movies you've ever done. Hearing through the grapevine that is one of your greatest performances. How did that
Thank
come
you so
about?
much. So, Captors, it's obviously inspired by the true events, tragic true events, about a female that was sex trafficked into this country. She was purchased by the serial killer. And then when she was a kid, she escaped miraculously. And then for 10 years, she lived in, basically, she existed. She didn't even live, she didn't have a job. She was illegal, and she struggled to make ends meet. And she just had very difficult life. And she blocked all of those horrific memories about what happened. That's what these victims do. They, because they cannot go back mentally to what happened, they're trying to block with all their body and brain what happened. And it's true. That's what happens. They don't remember anything, a lot of them, and certain periods of their times, the tragic periods of their times, lifetime, they don't remember. And so that's what she was doing for 10 years. Very poor. And then one day she gets a notice that she inherits a house, big house, and from her uncle that she never met. And she was very excited, because that's the only opportunity for her to have a place to live. And so she has only 3 days to go ahead there and claim the estate. So she goes there, and that's where all the interesting events unfold. At the end of the day, we get to learn that this is the she was lured into this place not by her uncle, obviously, but the previous captor. And all the interesting and suspicious events start occurring day after day while she's there, all by herself, all alone, trapped in the middle of a winter, in the middle of nowhere, up in the mountains.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, I've heard that. I've read that this is that was one of your best performances.
Thank you
And
very much. I appreciate it. It was
yeah,
pretty challenging, because I had to play both roles, and also this script is all revolves around one character pretty much. So there are other actors there, but majority of the story is carried by one person. And because we were pretty tight, it's a very low budget film, and we're tight on the shooting schedule. We tried to uh, pile up everything in one day, in 2 days. Just it's hard to do this, but we managed to do it with the help of James, because James, he knows how to do these things. He's very experienced, and he was very passionate about this project as well, because there's pretty much no major dialogue in the movie. So there's a lot of body language, there's a lot of facial expressions that we're dealing with here. And so James was very interested in a lot of scenes to shoot, a lot of scenes. He said more scenes than he's ever shot in his life with other movies. But
And
he did it.
that's
We did.
awesome.
Yeah.
And you reunite with him on Survive the Game, which
Yeah, and then we went on to do the Survive the Game. Oh my God, that's awesome. That's great.
and
Great.
yeah, I had such a blast watching that one. He talked about how you guys were excellent in it, the whole cast, like Bruce Willis,
Oh yeah.
Michael Murray, Sven Temmel. I mean, you guys did it, and we were talking about certain scenes because you were talking about how they shoot this angle and everything. And I remember the one scene where Sven's character, he crashed into a truck and he wakes up and he sees or Chad's character, and he sees a fight. You see a fight in the background as he's slowly waking up. And
Yeah.
I had mentioned, I'm like, that reminds me of a certain movie. And he said it was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I thought of another movie. And we had this, we just talked about like, but that was an insane like shot to do.
Yeah, that is pretty insane, but he managed to pull off a lot. And again, we're talking about films that are shot in a very tight schedule here. So we have stunts here that we need to shoot. He has, he as a director, he has so much on his plate, and we're talking about a bigger budget movie, but still tight schedule, right? So it is very difficult. It's not easy to be a director, that's for sure. And then you pull off this really nice scene. That's, I'm applauding him for this. But did you see my scene with Sven, my fight scene?
Yes, I did see that, and you got your.
You kicked my butt there, though.
Yeah, but you still held your own though. So like, did you?
I tried.
So did you actually train for the movie, or have you studied any of that for other flights?
Oh yeah, the fight choreography. Yeah, I am. I have a really great teacher that I'm working with. His name is Tim Storm. He's been in quite a few projects himself. He's trained for Matrix, some of the actors there. And he's very good, very talented individual. So we do wire work with him whenever I'm available, when he's available, do the fight choreography. I find it pretty interesting. It's hard, but it's fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you got to work with Jason Momoa on a film called Sugar Mountain. What was it like working with Jason?
Oh my God. We worked with him right before he became the famous Aquaman, so he was super sweet, very nice, very kind to everyone, very fun to work with. At first, everybody was like intimidated because, he's very tall, very good looking, and, powerful personality comes into the room. But immediately, as soon as you meet him, like the guy is fun. And, we had an amazing time. We shot it in Seward, Alaska. And his assistant was there, a bunch of crew and crew and cast. We went every Saturday and Friday, like starting Friday and Saturday, we would go to local bars. Mm-hmm. And our director, Richard Gray, the one that you interviewed recently, yep. He would play the dailies from the week that he shot, and then he will get the reaction from local people there and see like what they think, if there's any recommendation. Everybody loved it's just the process that not a lot of directors do, actually. It's very rare that the director would share raw footage with anybody who is not involved into the project,
Oh, wow.
And so then, we have live DJs, we dance, we eat, and it's just fun. And Jason is a great dancer, by the way. He dances really well.
So I hope people take note of that.
I am very honored that I had an opportunity to meet him in my life and work with him. So it was a very exciting time.
Yeah, I gotta say, Richard Gray was awesome. We talked about his new movie that just came out, Murder at Yellowstone City.
Yes, I missed the premiere. It was on Thursday. He invited me, but I was in New York.
Oh man, yeah.
I have to watch it now.
Oh, it was really good. And then I go, so what's next for you? He goes, I'm doing another Western next.
Oh,
so I was like,
yes,
yeah, because they just built the town when he started shooting. So he's like, yeah, we're doing another one.
It took them, I believe, 3 years to build this, 3 or 4 years. It's a long time coming, but now it's just perfect,
Yeah, and this movie had a great cast, hands down.
Exactly. Yes. So I'm looking forward. I have a lot of things now that I have to watch. It's 2 James's movies, and then I have Richard movie that I have to watch. I'm not part of it. I would love to see it.
then you got a movie called Beyond the Law, and you got to work with Steven Seagal and the late great DMX. What was it like working with those guys?
Well, with DMX, unfortunately, I have not met because we never had scenes together. But I did meet Steven Seagal in Romania because that's where we shot our scenes. And he was really cool, very, solid, and he's not very talkative, but, he's very tall too, like, Jason, and he's, like a fighter, and
Yeah.
he, so sometimes some people would get intimidated, but he's also, once he starts talking to you, he's very respectful, and it was great. It was a great experience, and we got to meet the local people there. The everybody did a really good job. The only problem that James had there is that people didn't speak good English there on set. Sometimes when he says action, people will still not get it that it's action.
Yeah.
We'll still continue talking, but it was great. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody did what they were supposed to do,
Yeah, I hear that. And you got to work with Glenn Danzig, the legendary Glenn Danzig.
Rockstar, yeah, that's the one that I thought you were talking about originally.
Yeah. Death Rider in the House of Vampires. What was that like? I have yet to see it, but that's on my now it's on my radar to see it. I was like, I have to see this.
Put it on your radar. This is definitely something to see. It's spaghetti western spoof, and there's a really good ensemble cast in there, and just like it's just a fun project to be part of. And Glenn has his soundtracks from the beginning to end. He wrote his own music, he produced it, he directed it, probably participated very actively in the post-production process. And we had a premiere for the cast and crew. And I'm not sure which platforms it's available right now, but I think it's out there. If you go to their website, I believe it's deathridermovie.com, you'll be able to get that information, which platforms it's available on.
So what was that like becoming a vampire?
Oh yeah, I was a vampire. Yeah, let's get back to that. So I was a vampire, and I not only that I was a vampire, but I was also a madam that was supplying the girls to the vampires.
Nice.
Fresh blood, yeah. And I had to have a southern accent in the role, so that's something that took some time to get adjusted to.
Yeah, I was gonna add, like you speak like you if you pull off a southern accent, you must be really good. I mean,
I'm not really good. I still have long way to go, but for those specific scenes, because I had studied it over and over and over and played it in my head over and over, because this was my first role with a southern accent. And and sometimes Glenn would be like, no, Yulia, you have to say it like this, get and just like a lot of little like things that he was teaching me on the set. But he was having fun. He goes, she's Russian and she speaks with a southern accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your ears inside. Ain't got all night,
There you go.
Yeah, but
you have to love it when people from other countries can pull off different types of accents. I mean, like you just proved it with the southern accent. You got Australian and British, even South African.
Accent is a difficult one for me. It's difficult, but it's fun. And if I have really good ears, so like if someone reads it to me with the way how you're supposed to pronounce it, I just keep replaying it in my head over and over, and it just gets settled in my head. So
that's a great way of learning.
Because if I'm in this environment 24/7, then it's easier. But if you're not in the environment where people speak with southern accents 24/7, then it's a challenge. So all I can do is just, if let's say I have a scene like I did with Glenn's movie, so I have my sides. So I'll just have someone who speaks with a southern accent read it to me, and that's how it will be, settling in my brain.
Yeah, it was funny with me is wherever I go to a certain region, somehow I pick up that accent. A true story. Like many years ago, I went to Indiana, and somehow when I went back to New York, I picked up a Midwestern drawl. And I ended up talking with a Midwestern drawl, and I was like, everyone around me was like, "Why are you talking like that?"
Yeah, so
I can't help it. I just been in that area for so long; it just came to me like naturally. But then it took about a month for me to get my New York accent back. So it's like,
you don't really have a New York accent.
Oh yeah, well, considering what part I'm from, but like sometimes like certain words, like it just comes out. But
when you're in New York, you can hear people from New York, like they're New Yorkers,
Yeah.
but with you, I don't really hear that much. I might be wrong.
Well, like I said, certain words, I don't know why, but it sounds like you're from New York, aren't you? I'm like, yeah.
Hide that.
So is there anything new that you're working on, or you're taking it easy right now and waiting for the
Well,
next?
for the summer, there's not much activity, but I'm working, on my own projects, like a dark comedy. I have a horror script with a few partners that I'm working on, inspired by true events as well, that happened in Iowa, with axe murders. Little giveaway. But then also in fall, I'm shooting a film. It's an action movie. And then sometime in fall, they haven't determined the dates yet. It's going to be a crime thriller. So I'm excited about that.
Oh wow, you're keeping
One
busy.
one will be shot in hopefully in Jackson, Mississippi.
Oh, are we? Does that mean we might hear a southern accent from you again?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so, but you don't know. I don't know.
Or have you thought about possibly directing a film? Because you mentioned how you like to do how things were shot from certain angles, and
Oh, absolutely. I was just talking to someone earlier today about this, that I'm looking at the producing aspect of it, side of it. Then I'm looking at the, one day in the future for sure, I want to direct a movie. And I was working on a short film slash PSA piece, with a very, very dear friend of mine who tragically died recently. And basically, like, I'm still working. Her and I, we were supposed to co-direct it, and it was in the horror genre. We scouted locations. We pretty much found everything, everything was ready to go. And then this tragedy happened. And then I decided for myself that I will still, because she was like a very important element in this project. So without her, I don't know if I can pull it off like anytime soon, but I will definitely need some help. And this is my goal, to make that happen and to release it, and have this, because there's a great message in that short, and it was just like a great short film story. So I would have started there, and then obviously one day I want to direct something, a feature film, something bigger.
so I could see it. I could see you doing a feature film down the road, and considering who you got, yeah, you worked with James and Richard. I'm pretty sure they can advise you on how to
Yeah, you
how to
definitely
direct.
have to have a really good DP, to help with everything. But at the same time, first you have to study everything. And the great thing I can do is to do a short film. If I want to be a director in some point of my life, I have to do something smaller,
Yeah,
but something meaningful to me.
that works. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
what
and,
I'm.
I- and I think this sounds perfect because in some way you'd be honoring your friend as well if you get the.
100%.
So that's what it's
100%.
all about. Yeah,
That's my
exactly.
goal.
So everyone, Survive the Game is on Blu-ray right now. Is Captors on any streaming platforms? Because I
Yes,
am going to
it is.
look out for it ASAP.
Yes, it is out. It came out at the end of May, and it's out on all major streaming platforms: Apple, Amazon, Hulu, YouTube, and etc. Just Google it and you'll find it. But yeah, it will be great if you guys watch it, and give it some likes and comments, and follow us on Instagram. That will be amazing.
Well, Yulia, thank you so much for taking
Thank
the time to
you.
talk about everything. I've had such a blast today. And
Likewise.
and
Thank you for
yeah,
having me.
Hmm?
Thank you for the invitation. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome, and I hope everyone stays safe and you take care.
And you too. Have
All
a good
right.
day. Okay, bye-bye.